Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. Today we're not actually going to cover a cryptocurrency, we are going to cover a stock, Tesla, that acts like a cryptocurrency sometimes. So if you guys like the content, please subscribe to the channel, and also feel free to join the Telegram group in the description below that you can also see right here on the screen. If you would like to talk about the charts and dive further in with a growing community of over 2,200 people. So Tesla, you can see that we actually have data back essentially as about as long as we have data for Bitcoin, so about a decade or so. And the white line that you see here is the price. The orange line are the quarterly revenue. So the price is on the primary y-axis on a logarithmic scale, and then the revenue, the quarterly revenue, is on the secondary y-axis on a logarithmic scale. So the orange line corresponds to this axis over here on the right, and the white line corresponds to this axis here on the left. Now what I did is I fit the data to a logarithmic regression curve to get a fair valuation. So basically looking at a manipulation of the error with respect to a logarithmic regression fit, and then plotting that fit over top the price data with a lower bound and an upper bound band to try to visualize, you know, at least historically, where has been a good time to get into Tesla. And obviously, without having these prior touches on the band, we couldn't really make the model. But since we have this, we can at least say, okay, based on this historical data, following this band could be a good place to get into Tesla. Now, this is not financial advice. I do not own any Tesla right now. I do not own any Tesla. I can say that for certain. But if we were to drop down to this lower band down here, I might take a position in it. And to get to that point, we're going to actually have to drop a decent amount from where we are. Tesla's currently trading around $400 or so. If you note this price right here, while it might be difficult to see it, it is a log scale, so they're not evenly spaced in between here, but we're looking at maybe around $150 to $200, because we may obviously pop below the band. I don't think this price is necessarily completely unreasonable considering the global pandemic that's going on with markets crashing. I mean, it's already significantly down, like 50 to 60% from its all-time high. I do think in general, if you follow the cryptocurrency content, that measuring something from its all-time high is a bit ridiculous because it's a somewhat arbitrary number that only developed because of a speculative bubble. So why would you evaluate something based on an irrational phase in a market cycle? But if we were to come down to this band, then I might consider taking a position. And it doesn't actually have to, it doesn't have to come straight down. I mean, we could move sideways for the next 2 or 3 years and then get to the band. And then it might be time to take up a position based on this mathematical model. But obviously buying right now is very risky. You could time the bottom. But I think another thing to consider with Tesla as well that has a lot of investors spooked is the falling price of oil. And if the cost of oil keeps going down, because of the fallout that Saudi Arabia and Russia had over the OPEC proposition in terms of sticking to a specific supply, they couldn't come to an agreement. So then Saudi Arabia just flooded the market with crude oil, basically saying, we're going to take back market share, and because they can produce oil and make a profit on it, even if it's only because they can produce it for just a few bucks a barrel, so even they could they could drop the price substantially further and still realize profits, and because of that they could take back market share from other big companies or people in the space that can't afford to operate like that, which might cause them to shut down, allow Saudi Arabia to reclaim a lot of that market share, and then maybe slowly start to increase the prices again once they've gotten what they want out of it. So because oil is going to likely, it doesn't seem like it's going to be heading up anytime soon, then Tesla is obviously going to be having to compete with the fact that people can get oil for very cheap. So buying electric cars, the revenue they might see could fall. And we have the revenue shown on here. In fact, the move from the lower band to the upper band back in 2013 was preceded by a huge boost in revenue. However, you can see that the one that we currently had at the end of 2019 wasn't necessarily, there was not a catalyst of, say, a huge increase in revenue, but in fact it was more just the revenue moving up on this logarithmic scale itself quite healthily. And you can see that we came off of that lower band and almost hit the top. And in fact, we came really close to around $1,000 per stock. But anyways, I will continue to follow this. I'll continue to follow Tesla because obviously getting back down into this region could present a nice buying opportunity. And if we look at the valuation versus the trend line in terms of overvaluation and undervaluation, so for below 100%, we would say, okay, it's undervalued compared to the long-term mathematical fit. You can see that we started over here overvalued, and then we came down to undervalued, way overvalued, upwards of 200 to 250%, and then back down to slightly lower undervaluation than we saw before, but not that much different. And currently we saw it go again overvalued to around 150%, and now it's back to being undervalued with respect to the primary logarithmic regression line. But even if it were to continue to fall, it could still fall considerably further before it would get to, say, a undervaluation that has been on par with prior levels. So if you guys like this content, again, subscribe to the channel, please, because we cover not only cryptocurrency, obviously we cover Tesla, we cover traditional markets, we cover global events. So please subscribe to the channel. If you want to discuss the charts, check out the Telegram channel. You can find a link to that in the description below. And if you want premium content, if you want more content, basically also with the ability to request certain types of analysis and get updates on say risk metrics for different coins and so on and so forth, then check out patreon.com/intothecryptoverse. We have a private Telegram group of around 100, a little over 100 people. It's a great group, and if we'd love to have you guys join. So go check that out if that interests you. I think that will wrap it up for this video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below about covering Tesla. I know many people would like me to just stick to cryptocurrency, but this is my channel. I do want to talk about what's important to me, what I think is worth looking at, and I think it's really worth people to consider that diversifying your assets and not just going all in on cryptocurrency is a healthy thing to do. And that includes, getting index funds, you can, obviously we're here because of cryptocurrency, buying other types of stocks. It's good to diversify in general, and even other markets as well. We might dive into at some point, but I think it's important, and I think it will ultimately be a wiser option than, say, going all in on one particular thing. So again, subscribe to the channel, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.